Support for SportsPage is provided by the University Store at the Crossing. The University Store at the Crossing is the official headquarters for Mules and Jenny's emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store located on the lower level of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for SportsPage is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of the University of Central Missouri Athletics.
Coming up on this week's edition of UCM Sports Page, Mules football took 3 days to complete its game at Emporia State.
Jenny's volleyball headed to Colorado for 4 games before coming home for Tuesday night matchup.
Jenny's soccer had a big win, and both the Mules and Jenny's golf teams were on the road. All of that and more on this week's edition of the UCM Sports Page.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the UCM Sports Page. I'm Kira Mackey.
I'm Tristan McClellan.
And I'm Jason Katz. We're going to begin tonight's broadcast with an update on how our Mules football team fared in the second week of the season.
The UCM Mules took 3 days to complete their game at Emporia State. Heavy rains and lightning caused the second half of the game that started on Thursday to be delayed until Saturday. Ultimately, it was not meant to be for the Mules as they came out on the short end 45-34. In the first half, UCM jumped to a 14-3 lead on rushing touchdowns by Garrett Fugate and Evan Campbell. After Emporia State closed the gap to 14-10, Fugate hooked up with Jalen Zachary on a 65-yard touchdown pass to give the Mules a 21-10 lead. But with 5:30 remaining in the half, ESU was able to find the end zone twice to tie the game heading into the break. After the suspension of play Thursday night, Central Missouri continued to play Saturday. The game resumed in the second half with the Mules receiving the ball tied at 24. Fugate picked off where he left off, marching the Mules down the field on their opening drive. Fugate found fullback Jordan Keeney for a 10-yard touchdown to put the UCM Mules up 31-24. The touchdown completed a 10-play, 85-yard drive with Fugate going 5 for 5 for 65 yards. But Emporia State answered back quickly. The Hornets scored on a 48-yard pass to tie the game again at 31. The seesaw battle looked like it would continue on the Mules' ensuing drive. This apparent touchdown to Jalen Zachary was ruled incomplete. Fugate fumbled in the end zone later on in that drive, and the momentum swung right back to Emporia State. The Hornets used a 14-play, 80-yard drive to take a 38-31 lead that ultimately proved to be too much for the Mules. UCM crept closer on this 27-yard field goal by Billy Greco, making the score 38-34 with just over 5 minutes to play. But the Hornets put the final nail in the coffin with a 2-yard touchdown, making the final score 45-34. The Mules ended the game with 565 yards of total offense. Fugate went for 24 for 37 for 371 yards and 3 touchdowns passing. He added 113 yards with a touchdown on the ground. Jalen Zachary finished his day with 6 receptions for 159 yards and a touchdowns. Markel Smith had 12 rushes for 50 yards. The Mules fell to 1-1 on the season, while Emporia State improved to 2-0. UCM will host Northwest Missouri State this Saturday at 1:30.
Jenny's volleyball picked up 3 more wins at the Colorado Premier Challenge last weekend. The Jennies defeated Metropolitan State, UC San Diego, and Regis University. Their only loss came in a tough 5-set match at the hands of top-ranked Tampa. UCM claimed a 3-1 win over UC San Diego. The Jennies lost their first set of the season when they fell 25-22 in set number 2. But it was all Jennies after that. The Jennies pushed the defending national champion Tampa Spartans to the limit. UCM took the Spartans to a 5th set before narrowly falling. In their first match of day 2, the Jennies won 3-0 over Metro State. The offense hit 365 as a team. That was UCM's 5th time in 8 matches with an attack percentage above 300. In their final game of the tournament, the Jennies downed Regis University 3-1. Tuesday night, the Jennies hosted Missouri S&T. They dropped the 3rd set in the match, but still came away with a 3-1 win. UCM came out dominant, jumping to a 5-1 lead. Missouri S&T rallied to the score at 9-9. But UCM used a couple of runs to regain the lead and take the first set 25-19. In set 2, UCM used a 10-3 run to overcome a 6-point deficit and take a 19-18 lead. The Jennies stayed hot and claimed the second set 25-20. The hot streak continued into the third set. The home team jumped out to a 14-9 lead. But then Missouri S&T heated up and fought its way to a 25-21 win. That seemed to fire up the Jennies. After 3 close sets, UCM was having no more. And the Jennies cruised to a 25-12 win in the final set to take the match. Soika had a career night, earning a new high with 27 kills in the Jennies' 3-1 win. Junior Maddie Jones put down a season-high 13 kills. She hit .414 for the match. 5 Jennies recorded 10-plus digs. Riley led the way with 22, and Haley Thompson put down 6 total blocks. The Jennies improved their record to 9-1. The 9 wins in 10 matches is the second most for the Jennies since 1996.
Coming up after the break, we'll see how the Mules and Jennies golf teams did on the road. Also, we'll take a look at how Jennies soccer did this weekend. All of that and more on the UCM Sports page on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS, and the UCM Media Network.
I choose red to blaze my own trail.
I choose red to be with students and faculty who make me feel at home.
I wanted a university with a big picture perspective. That's why I chose red.
Why do you choose red?
Choose red.
Choose red. Choose the University of Central Missouri. Choose red. Can I do that? Is that allowed?
What if news wasn't just a commodity,
but a commitment?
The fiscal cliff is a fiscal suicide.
why shouldn't we explore every side of the story?
The Syrian army had pulled back.
Where can you turn for news you can trust?
How do we make sense of something like this?
On PBS, we believe journalism should never stop asking questions.
Give to your PBS station and support independent journalism.
We answer to no one but you.
Welcome back to Sports Page. Jennies soccer competed twice this past weekend and fortunately kept their undefeated record. We have Daniel Barnett on the story.
We're here at the South Rec Complex where the Jennies are getting ready to open the 2015 home season. The Jennies love playing here. Matter of fact, they love it so much they haven't lost here in 11 straight matches. Didn't lose at all in the 2014 season when playing at home. The Jennies will look to extend that streak, try to make it 12 tonight as they take on the University of Mary here in Warrensburg.
The Jennies would waste no time in this one. Here in the 3rd minute, corner kick swung in. Abby Rhodes is going to connect with a header off the deflection from the Mary defender. Jennies take an early lead, 1-0 on Abby Rhodes' first goal of the 2015 season. Jens would continue to pour it on as this time it is Julie Ireland connecting in the 8th minute. She beats the goalkeeper. Jennies up 2-0. One of the keys for the Jennies in this one would be their pace in the offensive third. Here, Jada Scott on the ball. She's able to maneuver around her defender, send in a cross. That finds Megan Woolley all alone with the goalkeeper. Slides it past her. 3-0 Jens in the 13th. The Jennies added one more to their total for the first half. Halftime score, Jennies 4, Mary 0. Mary's defense would step it up in the second half until here a miscue by the Mary goalkeeper allows Julie Ireland to notch her second goal of the night. Jennies on top, 5-0. And then check this out. Here in the 83rd minute, forward Emily Griffin. She's going to do what every coach dreams a forward would do. She's going to take it down the line, send it right across the face of goal. Allison Stanley right where she needs to be on the back post. Her first career goal as a Jenny. The Jennies take 6-0 lead. The Jens would add one more late in this one, pushing the final score to 7-0. Julie Ireland contributing with a pair of goals. Jada Scott also 2 assists in the match. Anna Dilks records her second shutout of the season. Jens moved to 3-0.
Since their defense kind of sat back a lot, it enabled us to have more space to go forward and kind of see those pockets that Lewis would tell us about in practice and what we would practice on. And so that was really kind of helpful. So, when we go into more games, we'll see that.
We changed this week. We went from 2 forwards to 3, and trying to change our shape just to get a little more, kind of try to play the game in a different area of the field. We try to play higher up the field and not play in our own half as much. So I think it worked out really well. The kids worked really hard to implement, and we're really excited, to score 7 against anybody.
The Mules golf team started its season with a win at the Missouri Southern Invitational. With a 3-round total of 864, the Mules won the tournament by 23 strokes. The Mules had 3 top 5 finishers, including tournament champion Teddy Jones. This is Jones' second career individual title as he finished the tournament at 5 under par. Travis Mays and Alex Springer tied for second place with scores of 213 respectively. The Mules' next event is the NCAA Division II National Preview in Denver, Colorado. That is the site of this year's national championships. The Jennies returned to the links on Monday and Tuesday in Tahlequah, Oklahoma for the Northeastern State Classic. UCM finished the tournament in 10th place with a team total of 661. The top finisher for the Jennies was Taylon Intrikin's 2-round 158. That tied her for 17th place. The Jennies' next tournament is in 2 weeks in Jefferson City.
Congratulations to MIAA Players of the Week, Teddy Jones and Carly Soika. Jones led the number 5 Mules golf squad to a team title at the Missouri Southern Invite with a first-place finish at 5 under par. Soika followed her stellar weekend with a career night Tuesday. She recorded a career-high 27 kills in the 3-1 win over Missouri S&T. Thanks for their efforts this week, Jenny Volleyball moved to the number 6 spot in the second week of the AVCA Coaches Poll. That's 1 spot up from last week. Of the Jennies' 3 wins last weekend, 2 of them came from teams who are in this week's receiving votes category. Metro State and UC San Diego both received consideration for the top 25 poll. And the Central Missouri Jennies soccer team moved up 6 spots this weekend to number 2 in the National Soccer Coaches Association of America national poll. The number 2 ranking matches the highest ever for the Jennies. They first reached the top 2 on November 18, 2010. The Jennies went 2-0 last week with wins over University of Mary and Minot State. They are now 4-0 on the season. The Jennies are now the only MIAA team to appear in the top 25 and are only one of 3 Central Region teams in the rankings. That's the latest on UCM athletics and MIAA honors from this past week. When we come back, we'll have the update on the MIAA standings, upcoming events, as well as the week's questions of the week. Stay tuned as you're watching Sports Page.
Spending time with my boys is precious. I love being a dad. It's what I cherish above all other things, especially now. I was deployed to Iraq and served there for just over 12 months. I am certainly proud, but more grateful for that opportunity. When I was in Iraq, I was amazed that I could access PBS online. The coverage that the NewsHour provided gave an accurate portrayal of the events as I understood them unfolding. I thought it was an outstanding resource. It was a great way for me to stay connected to my country, but also where it really mattered, which was home. Having that tangible connection was really meaningful for me. PBS is something that I trust, and what they reflect to me is what's best about my country.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids that don't know where they will get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength in Food Network and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
Welcome back to Sports Page. Mules football is currently tied for 5th in the MIAA standings with a record of 1-1. Emporia State, Fort Hays, Northwest Missouri, and Pittsburgh State are all tied at the top conference with 2-0. Soccer and volleyball will begin conference play within the next couple of weeks. The Jenny soccer team is currently tied with Northeastern State for the best record of all teams in MIAA. Missouri Western and Emporia are 3-1, while Missouri Southern and UCO are 2-2. Washburn has the MIAA's only undefeated team at 8-0. And again, the Jennies are 9-1.
It's going to be a busy weekend for the Mules and Jennies. Jennies volleyball will head down to Arkansas for the Arkansas Tech Regional Crossover. They will play 2 games Friday the 18th against Harding at 1 p.m. and against Arkansas Tech at 5 p.m. The Jennies will then face Southern Nazarene Saturday the 19th at 9 a.m. Jenny Soccer will put its undefeated record on the line when it takes on Lindenwood University Friday the 18th at 7 p.m. at Jenny's Field at South Recreation Complex. Men's and women's cross country will compete for the first time in 2 weeks. The Mules and Jennies will be at the Missouri Southern Stampede in Joplin, Missouri, Saturday the 19th. Mules football will be in action Saturday the 19th, taking on Northwest Missouri State. Saturday's game will also be the annual blackout game for the Mules. Kickoff is set for 1:30 p.m. Good luck to the Mules and Jennies as they take on a very busy weekend.
When we come back, we'll have this week's installment of the Questions of the Week, so make sure to stay tuned to UCM Sports Page.
I choose excitement.
I choose to make a difference.
I choose uncommon opportunities.
I choose Red to experience learning to a greater degree.
Choose Red. Choose the University of Central Missouri.
What if television could sweep us away to another time and place?
Very nice, my lady.
And could take us from the Gilded Age to the Great War. From the heat of the chase to the heart of a queen. No one tells stories like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring stories like these to life.
Welcome back to Sports Page. Last week we started our new Question of the Week segment, and we'll be continuing the questions this week. Our first question, Kira, we'll start with you on Jennies volleyball. They're coming off of the 3-1 at the Colorado Premier Challenge, and then also Tuesday night's win at against Missouri S&T. Does this team have what it takes to win a conference title?
I think that they definitely do have what it takes to win a conference title. Not only do the Jennies play well together on the court, but they have awesome communication, they have solid defense and good coverage. They really they play at their own pace when they're on the court. With Missouri S&T, I noticed it was a faster paced game than it was during the Peggy Martin Challenge, just because I think they had more experience now on the court, and it's not a very young team. They have a lot of returners. Just for some numbers, attacks for kills for UCM, they have 448 kills against their opponent's 315. Like we mentioned before, Carly Soika, 27 kills in a match, or in that game against Missouri S&T. Also, the MIAA handed out 2 awards for Hitter of the Week, and Carly Soika collected both of those awards. So just having someone like Soika on the court for maybe the younger girls to look up to, or even the girls her own age who she's been playing with for a while, they gain a lot of confidence in her. And also with Courtney Thompson as the setter, she really knows where to be on the court. She pushes the ball out to get it to Soika, or she sets a really nice one for Maddie Jones in the middle. Either way, they have great communication, and having those 3 at the net is a dangerous combination. And
not only has Soika won the MIAA Hitter of the Week twice already, Annie Riley has won Specialist of the Week as well. Now we're going to move on to our football team. They're coming off last week's loss to Emporia State. Tristan, former wide receiver here. A game that's suspended at halftime like this, as far as a psychological standpoint, what does that put you at, knowing that you have to go back to play another half, suspended 2 days later?
It's kind of tough. It makes it to where you have to kind of refocus your energy and then realize that you have to, get ready for round 2, a second game in 2 days, which can do some toll to your body. So pretty much the biggest disadvantage is the recovery process from the first half, and just the toll that it took on your body, and just kind of getting ready for Saturday. So I think that played a key factor mentally. But other than that, it's just getting back to playing football and getting back to the basics and the game plan that they saw from Thursday to Saturday.
And again, this matchup this Saturday, huge one, Northwest at home blackout game. Tristan, who do you see as big impact players this coming weekend?
Well, I think the biggest impact players are going to have to be the offensive line. The offensive line is going to have to show up big. This Northwest defensive line is massive and control the line of scrimmage. So I think the game is going to start there. If the offensive line can control the tempo and the pace of the game, I think they're going to be successful on offense.
Returning 4 of 5 starters from last year's offensive line, so we'll look for that. And Kira, talk about on the defensive side, who do you see stepping up?
I think the whole defense needs to step up and really get back to what they know how to do. Last weekend versus Emporia State, defense didn't really do their best showing or have their best show. So I think when they come back here on Saturday, they really need to do what they know and get back out on the field.
Look for Jason Vinkus and Josh Powell to lead that defensive line there. And our final question of the week, it's about the Jenny soccer team. They're still undefeated, still rolling, coming off last year's season where they lose to the eventual national champions. Does this team have what it takes to run the MIAA conference again and get back to nationals and go deep again?
I believe so. This team is coached very well. They've all played together for a really long time, won MIAA championships, so they're seasoned there, and they know what it takes. And they just, they come together and they practice really hard, and that's where it starts, is at practice. They don't just go through the motions. They treat practices as the game would be, and I think they're focused and absolutely can repeat.
And Kira?
The Jenny soccer team was picked #1 in the preseason coaches poll, and although that's a great accomplishment, I think that they want to keep that name, sort of keep that high standard that everybody else is looking for. So I think that they have a lot to work towards, and they are going to be successful this season.
And again, opponents can't win if they don't score. Anna Dilks, already on the air, has 2 shutouts. Just an impressive season so far. That's all the time we have for this week. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on our closing segment, please share it with us. You can email all your questions to our faculty advisor, Dr. Joe Moore, at joehmoore@ucmo.edu.
Thanks for tuning in this week. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm Tristan McClellan.
I'm Jason Katz.
And I'm Kira Mackey. We hope you enjoyed it. You've been watching Sports Page on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS, and on the UCM Media Network. See you next week.
Support for Sports Page is provided by the University Store at the Crossing. The University Store at the Crossing is the official headquarters for Mules and Jenny's emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store located on the lower level of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of the University of Central Missouri Athletics.